The normal riding position is the foundation for all wakeboarding to come. If you're a beginner, intermediate, or even advanced rider, this position can affect not only how you move around behind the boat, but also how you execute and land tricks. If you're out of position, or if your position isn't ideal, you will struggle to ride and progress. In this video, we will start from the head and work down to the board and go over each area of importance so you can match the proper position to your position out on the water. Directly behind the boat, your head and shoulders should be square to the back of the boat, or, in other words, your shoulder line should be perpendicular to the boat's path. Both shoulders should be an even distance from the boat, and one shoulder should not be closer to the boat than the other. This shoulder position remains the same even when you start to turn or edge both heel side and toe side. Your lower body and the board will swivel or twist underneath you, but your shoulders will remain square and facing the back of the boat. From your shoulders, we move to your arms and hands. When riding behind the boat, your arms should be relaxed and an extension of the rope. Neither arm should be bent or you will mess up your shoulder position above. You shouldn't try to pull the handle close to your hips to get it into proper position. If the handle is out of position or away from your hips, then your body position is incorrect. Always adjust the handle position by fixing or correcting the body position. The only effort here by the rider is to keep the handle or the hands low, but keep your arms relaxed and the handle level or parallel with the water. Your hips will be turned slightly away from the boat, and they should sit on an angle between your shoulder position and your board position. So if your shoulders sit turned 90 degrees and your board sits at 0 degrees or pointed at the boat, your hips will sit at about 45 degrees in between. This twist comes naturally, and you should be more concerned about your hip position towards and away from the boat instead of the rotation. Your hips should be pushed towards the boat, and you do this actually by not moving your hips, but by rolling your knees forward over your toes. Your knee position directly affects your hip position, and as your knees roll forward over your toes, your hips move out in front of you, your shoulders move back a bit, and this also positions the handle closer to your hips without having to pull it in. If your hips are in front of you, the boat will pull you from a lower point in your position and you can better resist falling forward without weighting the tail of the board too much. Having your knees rolled forward also puts you in a softer position that lets the board transition from edge to edge better, while at the same time allowing the board to ride flatter and smoother on the water. You can ride through bumps, chop, and other boat wakes much easier with your knees rolled forward over your toes in this soft position. As far as board position is concerned, with no fins or small fins, your twisted position will cause the board to ride crooked in the water if you don't hold it in position. You should make sure the nose of the board is pointed directly toward the back of the boat when riding straight behind the boat. If you're struggling to keep the board straight, you should move the handle either right or left depending on your stance across the back of the boat or perpendicular to the boat path in the opposite direction that you need to twist. In this case, for regular stance, Kurt would move the handle left to twist more. With a little practice, you will memorize the normal riding position and it won't seem so forced. Your shoulders will turn into position, your arms will fall into place, your hips and knees will fall or roll forward, all while the board stays tracking and in position. It's a position you fall into every time the boat pulls you out of the water, so make sure you engrave it into your muscle memory to improve the foundation for every setup, approach, takeoff, and landing that you will experience out on the water.